Well, at United, things are not really moving on as planned. I told you yesterday that Manuel Ugarte was taken off the pitch as they obviously drew 0-0 with Ecuador, and he was taken off, and it is said he's really having a muscular injury. The worry was he might obviously have what we call an ankle injury, but it has been confirmed by a source coming in through from Uruguay that he's really having a muscular injury. And now, Kobby Mainoo, having gone ahead to be ruled out of the England national team that played into games against Greece and against Finland. They lost to Greece and beat Finland by 3-1. Obviously, a story coming in from a close source known as the UTD Menens has come out and told us that he's going to be out for a month. Fabrizio Romano speaking about Erik ten Hag and how he never got any threats from his bosses, obviously contradicting himself because he had come out before and hinted onto what we call Erik ten Hag tension in the board of Manchester United to make a decision. So, welcome to this channel. Rokan David is my name. How are you? Hope you people are really having fun, and this is the channel that brings you your latest news and information as far as everything is really concerned. Smash like button, comment and share. If at all you're watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. And Rokan David is the name that is really broadcasting you these stories in here. So let's see close to 100 likes or 200 likes much in this video, and let's obviously go ahead and obviously vote for iDental Care as the best dental care company in the country. Now, let's start it off with Kobby Mainoo. It is UTD Menens coming out and confirming to us that Kobby Mainoo is said to be out for around 4 weeks depending on recovery and rehabilitation. Now, Kobby Mainoo is really one of those players that you wouldn't like to miss out at the club of Manchester United. You saw it that as we are losing to Spurs, he played only 42 minutes and was taken off. Then, as we played against FC Porto, he made it to the squad that traveled to Portugal, but he never made it onto the matchday squad and went ahead and came in. Obviously, played, I think, 80 minutes when you're playing against Aston Villa, and he really was ruled out to attend the international break with England. And in my own thought, I was like, all right, however much it's like that, the player will obviously find himself back before we obviously play against Brentford this Saturday. And guess what? The story that I was going to shock everyone is really that, and he's really going to be out. But obviously, you feel a little bit of void into that midfield. But the most worrying bit of it all is that we've lost two midfielders in a space of, I think, 1 or 2 weeks. Because if Kobby Mainoo was away and into it that you had Ugarte, all would have gone ahead to be fine. But if you're not having Manuel Ugarte and Kobby Mainoo, then the situation is really getting worse. That is it, and that is what I'm really worried about. So Kobby Mainoo is one of those players that has been integral into the season of Manchester United, and he has not gone ahead of come out and really miss out on any Premier League game because he has played all the 7 Premier League games, and this one looks like is going to be one of the games that he's really going to be missing. To remember that the longest he has ever been out is from July, I think from August to November. He was out for 3 months because he played against Real Madrid, collided with Jude Bellingham, and he was off all out for 3 months. Returned in November, made his Premier League debut for Manchester United when, I think, full debut when you're playing against Everton away at the Goodsons Park, and that's how Kobby Mainoo came in through and started into that beautiful game of football. So, as it stands now for the club of Manchester United, Kobby Mainoo is out, Manuel Ugarte doubtful. But this is not all that conclusive. We are just waiting for Erik ten Hag to come up today in the pre-match press conference. Obviously, let us know what the squad of Manchester United is going to be like before we obviously play against Brentford. He has lots of things to report about. One, Kobby Mainoo, Manuel Ugarte, Lisandro Martinez, Luke Shaw, Tyrell Malacia, Amadi Diallo, Alejandro Garnacho. He has close to 8 updates to make about the players that are really going to be available or not. Lenny Yoro is one of those that we also want to hear from, because there are positive reports coming in through from the physio side of Manchester United that he might obviously show back or see himself back before the end of the games, the 7 games you're going to be playing, to get back into the international break. So, for Kobby Mainoo being absent and Manuel Ugarte being doubtful, that leaves us in a very huge ocean of questions, because who is really going to be playing into those positions in these fast coming games? Because on Saturday, after playing Brentford, we are going to be playing Fenerbahce in the midweek. After playing Fenerbahce in the midweek, we are going to be playing West Ham. After playing West Ham on Sunday, we'll be playing Leicester City in the midweek. After playing Leicester in the midweek, we are going to be hosting Chelsea at Old Trafford. Now, do you think Eriksen and Casemiro, all in their early 30s, can go all those games with the same intensity? You get? Because I know they can play well against Brentford and win that game. They can go out at Fenerbahce and do the needful, but all starts with the game of West Ham, because West Ham is going to be playing at the London Stadium, and they're really going to be a hard nut to crack. I tell you, they're going to be a hard nut to crack as a side of West Ham. So United aren't really having any easy go, and it's really going to be hard for the club of Manchester United, because we are left with how many midfielders that can play as a CDM? We are left with one. That is Casemiro only. The other player that can play into that CDM area is none other than Dango, and he's one of the players that I believe Ten Hag should risk and really give minutes in the game of Brentford. Start Casemiro and Eriksen in the double pivot, and then Dango, get him on to play some 10-15 minutes to prepare for the bad coming situations, because you cannot really play Eriksen and Casemiro throughout all these games until Kobby Mainoo and Manuel Ugarte really comes back. The other option is playing Lindelof into that central midfield, but remember, he's also going to be played as a right back. So a lot of problems are really targeting Manchester United, but we don't know how Erik Ten Hag is really going to hatch through them to obviously find a better solution. But a question will be posed to me: what of Toby Colley? I don't see Toby Colley as a number 6. I see Toby Colley as a box-to-box midfielder. That is it. I want to be very vocal about that. I see him as a number 8 or a box-to-box midfielder. But a CDM, I don't see that display in him to obviously be that patient, act as a reference in the central midfield, obviously shield that back four. I don't see it in him, but I see that a lot into Danny Go, and I see Dan Go as a number 6 at Manchester United, and we all know to it that he got a very huge setback. But if he had not gone ahead to obviously injure his shoulder towards the start of the preseason, I tell you, he would have gone ahead to be one of those midfielders that would have gone ahead to impress, and Erik Ten Hag would have gone ahead to obviously have a thought of really getting him into the team. And good enough, he was part of the squad that played or that really traveled to FC Porto, and that shows you that he's nearing his levels that Erik Ten Hag has always gone ahead to obviously see in him, and he's playing in the under-21s and really playing very well. So he might be one of those players that Erik Ten Hag should consider playing in there for the club of Manchester United. So for Kobby Mainoo, the right confirmation on whether he's going to be available or not is going to be given to us by Erik Ten Hag today in the pre-match press conference. That is it. So we wait and see how Ugate's assessment report is really going to be. If it's positive, then we'll see him in future. If it's not, then he'll be out of the conversation. Then, after that, let's talk about Fabrizio Romano telling us a little bit about the manager Erik Ten Hag and how safe his job is as we head into the game of Brentford at Old Trafford. He said Erik Ten Hag didn't receive any communication from the club. The board never felt like they had to tell him something. They discussed about the situation and the problems at the club. They insisted he was never really close to being sacked. Now, Fabrizio Romano was on YouTube and was like, the tension is really so huge. And I was like, he was speaking on a well-informed side of view, but he has shocked me to come out and really tell us that it was not all that close to sacking him. And I was one of those who was really very, very adamant that 80% this guy is going nowhere, because the problems at Manchester United are not yet done, and you can't really look at the manager when the problems are not yet done. So I believe that Erik ten Hag is still here. He's still here. I'm gonna hate to see some people say if Atoll loses to Brentford and loses to the side of Fenerbahce, is really gonna be sacked. I tell you, sacking Erik ten Hag hasn't gonna hate to come. You get? Because look at the injuries now. We're having a list of close to how many? 7. Lenny Yoro, Luke Shaw, Tyrell Malacia, Harry Maguire, Kobby Mainoo, Manuel Ugarte, Garnacho, Garnacho, Ahmad. We're having close to 10 injuries at the club of Manchester United. So I think everyone who is saying that the guy is close to be sacked is not having some good information. That's why Fabrizio is like, they never came close to sacking him. That is it. And the project is really being trusted by Erik ten Hag, and we are waiting to see what is really gonna come up, and even what would be his replacements. Thomas Tuchel is obviously now the new England manager, and if Thomas Tuchel really had been given assurance by Ineos that if Erik ten Hag doesn't really turn around things, we're going to sack him, I think he would have gone ahead, obviously take some time to really reveal or to really decide to join England. But him joining England shows you that there was no concrete contact from Ineos as far as him replacing Erik ten Hag is concerned. When you add all those dots, it shows you exactly that it was something being engineered by his media or PR machine or PR team to see that he quickens up or hastens the job of England. So welcome to this channel. It has been nice talking to you. Your thoughts on Kobby Mainoo out for a month, and even Manuel Ugarte probably also being out for a month, and the man himself known as Erik ten Hag safe at his job, as nothing like a threat has gonna obviously be shown or thrown to him. I'm out. Bye bye for now.